Well, what we have here is an AMI wall box. It is a control for a jukebox, and this one is the 1956 model. It's got a really low serial number, in fact lower than all the lists, so it makes me puzzled, but I would place it right at the beginning of production, 1956. They made this model until 1960. About half the listings in here are French music, so makes me think this probably came from Canada. It's about the youngest music in here is from the 70s, so this stayed in service until the 1970s. It's really beautiful. If you look at the chrome, it's just gleaming. It's got a little minor scratching and pitting. Not bad for having been in service for 20 years, 25 years maybe, and then sitting around for all the rest of the time. It's of course got the lock. I don't have a key for it, but it's pretty simple to take apart. If you want to take out the change mechanism, you open that, lift these two levers on the side, push down the coin return, and just take it out. It's a really interesting mechanism. It's purely mechanical and just uses the coin's weight and size to determine how many plays you get. It opens up like this with just spring-loaded doors. The coins fall down here, and depending on what they weigh and what little weights that get tripped, they fall at the bottom through one of three slots: quarter, nickel, and dime, or dime and nickel. And when it falls out of there, it goes over here and trips the corresponding little switch before falling into the change box. Change box just sits there, kind of push it up under the lever, and that tells the jukebox how many plays you get. To put it back together, put the top in there, push the return down again, slide it in, put the side levers back down again, and close this little gate. It's got a bumper on it so that it doesn't bump against the inside cover. And that's all that is going on there. When you press the return button on the top, it just opens the whole mechanism out. Whatever's stuck in there will dump down the return chute and out the side. The mechanism is very easy to access and repair. There's only 4 screws holding it in. One down here, one here, opposite corner, one up the top corner, and the 4th one is the opposite corner. Now it's ready to come out, but before I do that, I want to unplug the cable. This is the only thing that connects the front part of the clamshell to the back. So once you're free, it's free. There we go. Now I'm disconnected, and I can take this whole assembly out. And there's nothing to it. You just pull it out, and there you are. You can have easy access to the glass now. I'm cleaning it, and this glass is actually in very good shape. It's got a couple of scratches that could easily be taken out if you wanted to. Now the mechanism itself is of course interesting. It's purely mechanical. It doesn't have any real electronic aspects to it, so it's not a kind of a smart mechanism, but it's really ingenious the way it works mechanically. If you select a button first, let me just show you this. If these little white contact switches down here on the front will tell the controller which page you're on. So when you flip these, they push down another one of these switches, and that's the first piece of information that the controller uses to flip a circuit. So now that it knows what page you're on, if you press one of the buttons on the side, it holds in, and that tells the controller where what your selection is. That will put this mechanism into play down here now. So once you make your selection on the side, a little motor that's down here starts turns this commutator around. That sends pulses back to the jukebox as it strikes all these little contacts along the way. And when it finally gets to the end, it resets the button. The button just popped back out, and now you're ready for another selection. So it's a pretty interesting little mechanism, pretty easy to work on. It just has little spots you should keep oiled so it's running smoothly. There's a button in the front of the jukebox that get this all the way. There we go. When you select a button and you decide that wasn't the one you wanted, there's a button on the front of the jukebox that presses the lever down here and just resets. Now that button just flew off, and the reason that's not a problem, these aren't that tight, they're kind of loose, but the flanges on the side keep them from coming out of the cabinet, so they're really contained within the cabinet even if they aren't loose, and when normally you're just pressing it, you're not actually pulling on it. So it's just designed that way. So when that completes, it releases the buttons and resets and gets ready for another selection. Alright, to put it back together again, you just simply bring it around, position it inside the front face. One thing, these little clips on the side go inside the cabinet, not on the edge. They will go either way, and if they are outside of the edge, then you can't close the cabinet. Even though they didn't protest when you put it together that way. I did that once and I couldn't figure out why the cabinet wouldn't close anymore. But so let's see. They're inside, that's good. There, you're just ready to put the screws back in. Now, you don't have to take that all apart to get, if you wanted to change the names of the songs on the selector. That's really super easy. You just turn this lever and pull it out. And now you're just looking at at these selector panels, and you just pull out your songs and replace them with new ones. You can get the templates online. This has kind of categories on the bottom. You got old favorites, French, popular, hit tunes, popular again, rhythm and blues down here. So it's kind of a neat, it's really in great shape. It's really just been kind of a time capsule apparently from the 70s where it was never used again. Now to get this back in, it's a little bit trickier than getting it out. Getting it out is a piece of cake. Getting it in, you just bunch them up together like this, so they kind of go through the window without interfering with those little switches. And there, that's done. And then you just put the lever back in place so it can't get out. Up here it's held in by there's little spring-loaded balls that just hold that in there. So it's super easy to service. These are designed for the serviceman in mind, so they can be serviced very quickly. So the owner of the store was never losing money. And I'll show you one other thing here. When this is wired up to the jukebox and to other controllers, the wires are connected in here. If you want to access that, you just pull that connector out of the way. Now this one has stubs for 2. It was connected to the jukebox and then or is just connected in series to a bunch of these different controllers, ultimately getting back to the jukebox. I'm just leaving those on there just for reference. But once you do put your new wires on, they feed out of the cabinet through holes back here, through there, and either down or back. So it's pretty easy to set up, and there's only 4 wires exiting. Even though you look at this connector, there's all those pins, but those pins are just completing circuits in different ways that tell that ultimately end up sending the right number of pulses back to the computer, back to the I keep wanting to say computer, but jukebox, and it takes those pulses and it knows what to do, and it selects the correct song. So that's all there is to it. It's pretty simple, very well built. Like I said, built for easy servicing, built for rugged use, and it lasts. Obviously, I think I haven't been able to test this in any way, but I think if you plug this in, it'd probably just work as it is right now. It seems to be good. New keys are about $11 on eBay. You can see how shiny this chrome is. It's really beautiful. And now let me just show you what it's like when you put a coin in. Open this back up. So if I were to put a coin in the top, you put it up here in the slot, and then I'll show you the mechanism. It drops through, trips the right number of levers, and then drops into the coin box, and there it is, the bottom of the coin box. So, yeah, this thing pays for itself, or at least it used to back in the 50s. Can you imagine recouping your investment 10 cents at a time? And if you get something that gets stuck in there, like a slug, you know, someone tries to put a washer in or whatever, then you just press the button at the top, and it clears out, and it comes shooting out of the side, out of that hole right here. So that's where your slugs and rejected coins come from. So give one final look at this. You can see the reflection of the chrome, how beautiful that is. Buttons are in nice vintage condition. They could, you can replace them. You could get a replacement set for about, I guess, $40 on eBay, brand new. And it also comes with this button, the clearing button that clears the selections. This one is the only one that's really not in really terrific shape. Obviously still works, but it's the only one that's really not beautiful. There's lights behind here and here. There's lights under behind select and wait inside of there. So that's what lights up when it's ready to go. And yeah, just a beautiful thing from 1956. Really excellent condition. A little bit of wear on the chrome here and there, but it's a real beauty. Even the back of it. There's a table mount thing, I think, that fits into here. I think that's what. But if you hang it on the wall, you just use these keyhole. And like I said, it weighs 31 pounds. So you want to make sure you got this mounted on something sturdy. So, thanks for watching.